Welcome to the sixth episode of Open Conversation. I'm your host, Bella, and today just going to be talking about different topics um, that I want to talk about, questions that I'm going to give answers and my point of view on, and yeah, stuff that I think is something to talk about and have a conversation about. So, with the first topic, uh, first topic of the day is self love versus self hate. Um, both polar opposites of one another, which both are rooted in again in self. And so, to begin with self love, I think that you can't give authentic love outside of yourself if you don't have self love. I think if you're you're in a situation, if you're, the love, when you have self love, then there's a certain amount of, genuine, uh, just genuine in your actions and intentions uh, that you have with yourself first, so that you can have that with other people. Um, the love that you have for yourself is the love that you'll be able to give to others with no real issue, because you have it within yourself. Um, so that's why, to me, self love is the most important love. Uh, it's good to have love for others. That's just part of the world we live in. It's you have to have love for others, but if you don't have love for yourself, then to me, that I don't think you can genuinely have love for others. It's going to always be um, kind of like on a need be base, or if you just acting as if uh, might have love for that person, but you really don't. You just might be there for certain motives or agendas, um, and so that's where you get into self hate, and what that's pretty much the polar opposite of self love, where you don't um, have the best intentions for yourself. You don't treat yourself at the best that you possibly can. You cheat yourself out. You lower your personal limitations on stuff, and your abilities, and you do this to yourself, and you also project that. You also do that to other people when you're someone who might have a lot self hate, because that is how you treat yourself. So it's not going to be much of an issue to do that to someone else. Um, and it's something that, um, like I said, that's really where all you know hate and crimes that are done on other people, it's always a stem from a level of self hate, except you know uh, it's something done out of defense. I think that's an act of self love, but just overt acts where someone gets murdered, or shot whatever, bad acts like those are always, um, to me, the showings of self hate. You know what I'm saying? And yeah, that's to me, uh, the difference between you know the love and hate that gets put out to the world. It's always a stemming of self. You know what I'm saying? So to me, I think that it's most important to have self love so that you can project the best that you can out to the world. You know what I'm saying? And when you're able to treat yourself well and respect yourself and value yourself, you're able to be able to do that in someone else's life. You know what I'm saying? So I always just believe that the relationship and how you treat yourself is always going to dictate the way in which you interact with other people in the relationship and how that relationship is going to go. So yeah, that's just my point of view on that. So next topic, the difference between healing and learning. Um, Start with both are necessary. Start by saying that in terms of the evolving process as a human being, but I do believe there is a difference between the two. To me, when it comes to healing, there's different kinds of healings that that can be done. That's it could be whether it's a bodily injury, right? Correct. A bodily injury, or you might need healing from that, or um, a wound. You might need healing. You'll need healing from that, from some type of medicine, ointment, or some type of thing to heal that. Um, you might go through have some level of a traumatic experience, right? And that experience caused you to feel bad, so to speak. So from that experience, you might feel like your body has to recover or feel better from that experience. Um, all of which, yes, it are necessary, but healing to some degree is temporary. In that uh, you can heal something and also then potentially re-hurt that where you healed again. Um, to given a circumstance. So like, um, you put your hand in a boiling pot of water and you burn your hand, and it's like your hand is hurting, and so it takes time. Your body's gonna have to take time for it to heal back again, right? But if over time again you were to, despite that your hand has healed over time, if hypothetically speaking, if you were to go back in another situation or case and you were to put your hand that you healed back into a boiling pot of water, it can get it can hurt again. You can get that same bad feeling, or pain of that hot pain ache from putting your hand again in the boiling pot of water. So you're gonna have to go back and you know into that healing process again so that your hand can get back to just feeling better. So that's healing. So um, learning, learning is mental. Learning is objective. Um, learning is something that you can use in any case scenario moving forward. For example, so if someone tell like in school, you learn 4 plus 4 equals 8. You didn't know that before. Usually the teacher teaches you that 4 plus 4 equals 8, right? So you've now learned that. So now moving forward in any case scenario, if someone were to ask you what's 4 plus 4, you know the answer. It equals 8. So you've learned a lesson, right, that you can now apply in any given case scenario moving forward. You never have to go through, you know, some sort of hurting or pain. Like you know the answer. And so when someone is not learning, they're they're just not they're not applying the information that they learn, and they're getting the same results, the same bad results, because they're not learning. So that's why, for example, like with the situation, like I said, with the whole healing with putting your hand in the water, somebody who, for the first case, is the first experience, they put their hand in hot water, and they hand was hurting, and they felt that they had a bad experience, and it was, damn, I don't want this to ever happen to me again, or whatever the case may be. If they learned from that experience, they wouldn't put their hand in that hot water again. So they don't, you know what I'm saying? If they learned. Now, if they just healed and they didn't learn, they'll put their hand back in that water and burn their hand again, showing they haven't learned anything. They just, it just been time passing that their body has felt better. They haven't mentally learned from that experience and situation. You know what I'm saying? They haven't learned anything. So, um, it's really understanding, mainly with just understanding, healing mainly has to do with the physical, and learning is more so mental, what I'm saying, and spiritual, what I'm saying. But, it's when you learn, you can protect your spirit, so from scenarios and situations that you think that you didn't like, or you felt was a bad experience, you know what I'm saying. uh, Healing is always part of the process, but learning is really the way that you move forward in life, in any experience, in life. I suggest, people like to forget their, the quote unquote bad experiences that, or bad situations they've been in life, that were unfortunate. Potentially, it wasn't even their fault or the case, but people like to forget those experiences. But it's so important to learn from those kind of experiences and situations, so that you have lessons that, for one, you don't get back in that same bad case scenario, and then you can apply in your life moving forward. Next topic: the purpose of forgiveness. Um, that's something that I think a lot of people, have a hard time doing. Um, so I just think that is such. I think it's important to talk about why the purpose of it, why you do it. I think in a situation where somebody was victimized per se. There's a victimizer and there's a victim. The person who was the victim in the situation, I don't think there is anything for that person who was a victim to forgive the victimizer because they were the victim. They didn't do anything wrong or immoral to the person who was the victimizer. So, what should they be forgiving about in the situation? They didn't do anything immoral, you know. Um, if anything, they were done immoral. So, um, I do believe for a person who is a victim in a certain situation, circumstance, that it is a situation to, like I said in the last slide, to learn from so that you can move forward and not have the same uh, scenario in case come again and you don't know how to act or deal with the situation. So yeah, so I do believe it's lessons to be learned. If in cases where you are a victim of a situation. Now, for the person who was the victimizer in a situation, I think that they're the person who uh, has needs to forgive, and who they need to forgive is themselves for what they have done. Um, and I don't. I think that in situations, people mainly lean toward like it's like generally people are like it's like if they do something wrong to someone else, um, uh, if they do something immoral to someone else and they know it, it's like they will. It's like their dilemma is forgiving that other person who they did something immoral, wrong to, you know what I'm saying? And that's really not who needs to be forgiven. If you're that person, you need to forgive yourself. And once you're able to forgive yourself, you're able to then go to that person and actually showcase that one, you've forgiven yourself and you can acknowledge that you did something immoral or that was bad and to that person and it and you can have the strength and the wherewithal to do that in front of that person. But if you're somebody who hasn't forgiven themselves from a wrong act that you believe you've done to somebody, you cannot you will not have the ability to tell the person who you may have done something wrong to that acknowledge that you did that because you still haven't forgiven yourself for what you've done. You're still holding that in or holding that back, like, I'm gonna hold like until and you're gonna keep that kind of bad, it's a bad energy to hold on, you know what I'm saying? So hold on to. So um it's so important that in situations of forgiveness, that if you're someone who has done some, that was immoral, that you forgive yourself and acknowledge that you've done something wrong. And that doesn't mean that you need any punishment or you're just a bad person. We all, you know what I'm saying? we all make mistakes, or what I'm saying, do things, and we realize, in a later time that, hey, maybe that wasn't a smart move, or whatever the case may be. But it's just the acknowledgement. Once you're able to have that self accountability with yourself, where it's like, okay, yeah, I acknowledge that. You can, like I said, do that in the face, in front of others. You know what I'm saying? So that, to me, uh, is the whole purpose of forgiveness. Now, next topic: the difference between having a man and a husband. So, to me, I see a lot of times, girls, and they're always speaking about, how I have a man, my man this and my man that. He's doing this, he's doing that for me, and that's really it. You know what I'm saying? And you just have a guy who you have doing stuff that you believe a quote unquote grown male should do, for a woman. You know what I'm saying? Take, take care of you, protect you, or pay for this, or, pay for your nail, or pay, just pay for certain things. And, you know, and again, that's like all temporary. You know what I mean? Like, that's something that over time, over a period of time, can be switched. You have a new man, once you have, and it's just really a bunch of dudes or guys that essentially are just doing stuff for you. You know what I'm saying? And hey, I don't have anything against it per se, but that's what it is. And you know, there's nothing long term about it. So now with a husband, you're talking about an actual partner in a relationship long term with, you know, children involved, and mixed, you know, families and stuff like that coming together, and things like of that nature. That's what you're speaking about when you're talking about having a husband. You know what I'm saying? That's somebody who's playing more of a significant role in your life. You know what I'm saying? Not just doing certain duties you believe a male should do. You know what I'm saying? That's basically what having a man is. You know what I'm saying? A husband is more deeper than that. It's more of a responsible role and significance to it. So it's it's two different interests when you're talking about what you're looking for in a male. It's male species. You know what I'm saying? Are you looking for a man to just do certain duties for you, or are you looking for somebody who's building, who you can build something in the future with? You know what I'm saying? Not just from a temporary standpoint, who's just there for certain needs that you may want at the moment. So that's just really, to me, the real distinguishing thing between, to me, between a man and a husband. You know what I'm saying? A lot. The significance, the responsibility role, and a husband isn't that easy to replace. You know what I'm saying? There's not. People always talk about having options. Everybody has options between both men and women. Since everybody is essentially an option, but um, you don't have too many people. I'm sure most women don't have many options for men that they want to build a future with or get married to. They don't have that too many options per se for that, and vice versa with men. Um, in terms of having a partner that you can build with long term, but there's a lot of options of for women that have a man to pay for certain things, you know, take them on certain vacations and do this and pay this. Like that's everywhere. You know what I'm saying? That's dang near unlimited. So the limitedness of between the two categories too, to me also is significant. So um yeah. So yeah, difference between having a woman and a wife. Pretty much like I said, just with the difference between having a man and a woman, just pretty much and vice versa. But there's probably some just key differences. Obviously, men and women, we play different roles. We have different roles and things of that nature. But same thing. Just you probably just as a man, looking for just a woman to perform certain duties for you. It's just certain it's just cool. Um, I ain't knocking anybody anybody's interest in what they doing. But yeah, there's a lot of women who could do certain basic needs that you think that a woman can provide for you, which you know that's limited. You know what I'm saying? When you're just looking for the basics of just what a woman can do for you. A lot of times it's just like you might just want a woman around you just to be around you because you don't want to feel alone, or you just need somebody for sex or whatever, all cool, you know what I'm saying? Because, that these are things that just the basic things that a woman can provide. But when you're talking about having a wife, you're talking again, same difference with having a husband, you're talking about higher level of responsibility. You're talking about somebody who you're building a future with, a relationship with, building a family with, having children and joining families and all of that, So again, there's a higher level of significance. Not too many women out here can have, to me, those intangibles to be a wife, and vice versa with men. Males having intangibles to be a man. I mean, to be a husband. So it really comes down to the intangibles and having a certain level of taking on a certain level of responsibility and significance that you're willing to play. To me, that's what I think. You know, is a difference, and there's as men, you can men know you ain't got too many options. If you go and look at the different women that you consider quote unquote options, whatever, not too many of them are optional for to be wives. Men know that. So, um, in their perspective, so um, yeah, man, I think those are the differences, man. You know, a lot of times, you know, people who, everybody wants to get married. Every woman's dream is to one day get married, regardless of whether or not she knows or feels like she's ready to be married. If a man that she really likes, finds attractive, whatever, that she, sees the future. If she wants to, if he were to propose, she'll say yeah, even if she's not per se ready to be filling that responsibility level of being a wife to you as a man husband. So it's so important to vet people out to between men and women, you know what I'm saying, of whether or not you think and feel that they're, the person that you consider for marriage can fill that role for you to your liking. So Next topic. What is respect? Respect. That is probably definitely the most demanded thing by people. Regardless of, that's, most overused, one of the overused words. I need my respect. All this, yeah, So I believe that respect gets taken out of context a lot. It can be, regardless. Everybody can um, have their own meaning to words. So that's why the whole topic is what is respect. So I'm gonna start off by giving the source dictionary definition of the word respect. It is a feeling of deep admiration for someone or something elicited by their abilities, qualities, or achievements. That is the dictionary definition of the word respect. Um, Again, like I said, words get to that content a lot. So that's where the conflict, when people say things, it's like, well, is that really respectful? What, for me, I do, I'm a very objective person. So I just go off of the objective meaning of the word. And so, based on the word respect, having a feeling of deep admiration for someone, that's how when I go, that's and have relationships, that's how I base what respect is. It's just having an admiration for someone. And so a lot of times um, it gets used in ways that's not that definition. So some people will view respect as a way of how you talk to them, right? The tone, if you don't talk to them in a way that they don't like, they don't like, they say that you're not respecting them. But to me, that's not necessarily disrespect. That's just how a person is just choosing to project themselves to you. That doesn't necessarily have anything to do with you. You know what I'm saying? When someone is talking to you, if anything, the way someone talks to you is a reflection of themselves, how they feel about themselves. So, um, but then, like I said, that's one way I heard. I've heard people use respect in that context, or if um, how you're treated, right? The way if someone would say, if you don't treat me well, you don't treat me right, whatever, then you're not being respectful, right? But again, based off of the context, the definition, the objective definition of the word, that's not necessarily respect. That's just poor treatment, right? That's poor treatment. And again, the way someone treats other people is going to be a reflection of themselves. So even if when someone gives someone poor treatment, that's not a that's really not a slight on the person that they're giving the poor treatment to. It's really a reflection of the person who's given the poor treatment. So, for me, um, based off of the definition of respect, um, as it pertains to me, I respect myself. I admire myself. I admire what I do. I admire the type of person I am. I don't force anyone to do the same. If you would like to, I would like it. I would always, I would appreciate it. But I'm not going to force people to admire me. You know what I'm saying? You just may not be into the certain things that I'm into, or you know, just might be into different things potentially. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not gonna force that onto anybody. Like I said, to like me or to admire what I do. Um, so um, yeah, self. In order to have respect from people, I do believe that you need to have self-respect for yourself, because if you don't, have self-respect and admire yourself, then no one else will. And that's definitely something that I would encourage people to have. Um, don't just have respect for other people, have respect for yourself, and people will see that, people will give you respect. You know, uh, I don't think, like I said, some people demand admiration from people. I don't think that's, again, that's it feels forced. A lot of people demand, like I said, demand admiration, and that's not real admiration. It's not genuine. They may just not be into what you're into. You know what I'm saying? That's no slight on them. That's what it is. You know. Next topic. What is loyalty? So the dictionary of loyalty is a strong feeling of support or allegiance. That's the dictionary definition of it. Strong reason, support, and allegiance. So I'm objective. I go off of what it is. And that's how I am for the people in my life. But I think that you do there does need to be a distinction, because not all what can be perceived as loyalty is loyalty, or is really good loyalty. Is if you want to put it from that standpoint. Because not all loyalty is good loyalty. There's some could be, it could be content is some bad loyalty, because if it's a situation where um, you commit a crime and you got people around you, you know, showing you loyalty, showing you support for that, then that's not good loyalty. They supporting you right to prison. You know what I'm saying? That's you know what I'm saying. That's the type of situation a lot of people found themselves into. You had you and find out that you're around the wrong crowd. You know what I'm saying? When people are in some sense showing their support towards doing wrong acts. You know what I'm saying? That's not good. That's not going to be beneficial. That's those are enablers, if anything. You know what I'm saying? Perceiving as being loyal, or whatever. Um, to me, what could be considered to be good loyalty um, is, you know, cases and situations where if I were to be if somebody helps me, right, gives me an opportunity, let's say, for instance, example, I'm a up and coming musician artist and upcoming rapper or whatever, and somebody who's in a quote unquote better position than you at the time, gives you opportunity to, you know, play your record on the radio or something like that. You got, you know, maybe a friend of yours and he helps you and gets your record played on the radio, and he helps you out on that. So he's showing that support, showing that Lord, for to be loyal to me is to return that favor. So like if it's another kid, in futures, just in case it's a future scenario, that same person who helped you get your record played on the radio, if it's a situation where, okay, you've now become a major rap artist or something like that, and now maybe that same person who helped you out when you was coming up or just trying to get started, he may ask you, for help on something, or could you do something for him that could help his career and what he's doing. You, like, with your status now that you're a bigger artist, you can help him out, you know what I'm saying, and what he's doing for whatever he's trying to do, you know what I'm saying. So that's return that, like, support or allegiance, you know what I'm saying, that was showed in the beginning. So that to me is showing loyalty, when you show a good hand and then return the same thing. That to me is you know a good sense of loyalty. A good healthy loyalty. Like I said, not all loyalty, you know what I'm saying, allegiance, support to certain things is beneficial. Some of it can be enabling. What is trust? So it says from the dictionary, the firm belief in the reliability, the truth, ability, or strength of someone or something. So that is the dictionary definition of it. And again, that is what's needed in relationships. You know what I'm saying? That reliability and strength, the belief in each other. Without that, that can't really have a relationship. And some people, like I said, words are subjective, even though that words have a dictionary definition. People can use words in context that is subjectively meaningful to them. So, people may, and not even people have, I've seen people view trust in the sense of, you know, solely from anything I tell you, if you don't believe it, then you don't trust me. And that's not necessarily the case. Like you could be, you could be telling me some BS or some false information, and I shouldn't just be of the impression that I should just, if I don't believe you, believe what you're saying, then, you know, I don't trust you. Like I said, I think people, uh, your words have to match with action. You know what I'm saying? That's could be a route to manipulation when you're telling somebody to just believe what you're saying. You know what I'm saying? To trust them, and then whole time you're not following up with action. You know, so but then somebody will say then that's their trust. You know what I'm saying? So uh, again, like I use the word trust based off that dictionary definition. You know, having that reliability in someone and others, that strong belief is important, and that really uh, sets a growing bond. You know what I'm saying? In a relationship, when you have um, strong levels of trust. Um, Without it in a relationship, and you really don't got anything. Next topic: right and wrong. So when we talking about right and wrong, people, when it comes to debates and arguments, and people have the concept of this person's right, this person's wrong. And one thing I've came to realize is that in these kind of cases or scenarios, we're talking about right and wrong. It really just pertains to have personal opinions. Um, it's not really based off of objective fact, who's actually correct. It's just you know who's perceived to be quote unquote right is um, the person with the opinion that is perceived to be agreed upon, more appealing, more favorable. That is the person who's right, and the person who's wrong is the person with the opinion who that's not favored or not liked, you know, kind of thing. There's no objectivity to it. There's no truth to it, right? So that's how you have in politics, someone being right and wrong. The person being right, who might have the more popular vote, right, is considered to be right. And the person with the least popular opinion is wrong. So it's really more so of a political thing when you're talking about right and wrong. It's opinion based, and everyone is entitled to their opinion. Um, that's one thing I've come to grips with and accept, even regardless of um, how much I may disagree, whether it's a complete uh, fallacy, it's a complete lie. If that's their opinion, quote unquote, most people will say, well, their truth, right? That's they're entitled to that opinion, right? Um, I just would just disagree. Um, is not a, objectively when we're talking about objectivity, you know what I'm saying, cases, um, and then that we're talking about then it just being completely false and incorrect. But from, like I said, the perspective of right and wrong, then we just talking opinion. You know what I'm saying? And like I said, people are entitled to whatever opinion they want to have. You know what I'm saying? People I've seen, you see all the time on social media, people will, have say a complete lie or just some made up, not true, and it getting millions and thousands of likes and views. You know what I'm saying? That's just proof. You know what I'm saying? And so I just think, you know, we were talking about, it's just a different conversation. We're talking about right or wrong, and we're talking about true or false. What's objective and what's not objective. That's the real thing when we talk about true or false. So you know, it's it's something that in terms of uh being right or wrong, um, like I said, it's opinion. It's opinion based. Um, and I just choose to, in cases where I'm having debates or you know conversations, whatever the case may be, arguments, whatever. I'm more of a objectivity, fact based person. So a lot of times, when I'm having these kind of debates, whatever, I'm coming with facts. I'm coming with truth, and maybe the other person's coming with their own made up point of view or lie or just a different opinion. Just you know what I'm saying? Just a different opinion. Just it doesn't even have to necessarily even be a lie or made up. Just a different opinion, and that could be based on fact. You know what I'm saying? Maybe uh, I just I've learned not to take it per se personal, um, and just understand that you know uh, people, like I said, I'm entitled to my opinion, and other people are entitled to their opinion. And yeah. So yeah, man, that's all it for today, man. In terms of what I wanted to talk about, man, I hope that this was informative for y'all, man. Take some things, learn from it. That's what this whole platform is about. Open conversation is just to take in information, learn from it, apply certain points in your life that I'm speaking on, or just have these kind of conversations with your friends and family or the people you work with, and just create these conversations. Like I said, man, that I'm having, getting more in depth with it, and just growing and evolving. So, yeah, man. Till next time, y'all have a good one.